Some people get into it for the weight loss or like whatever, and that becomes just the intro. Like whatever you started martial arts for, we're gonna solve that problem. Like if it's weight loss, like give me a year. You're gonna lose.
Give me a year. You gotta give me time.
You know, if it's self-defense, give me a year, maybe 2 years. Then you're not gonna be worried about getting beat up anymore. You're worried about stress. A year of fighting, you're not stressed. But then everything else crazy happens as you keep progressing.
Better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out.
This episode is brought to you by Visit Luzerne County. Craving a slice of excitement? Dive into the Visit Luzerne County Pizza Trail. Eat pizza, earn points, and turn those points into prizes. It's simple. Sign up for free at visitluzernecounty.com to get started. No apps, no hassle, just savory rewards. Check in with the partner restaurants to rack up points with every delicious slice. The best part? Those points unlock awesome pizza-themed prizes. Where else can you eat pizza and earn rewards? Sign up for free today at visitluzernecounty.com and start enjoying points on the Visit Luzerne County Pizza Trail. This episode is brought to you by Dino's Pizza and Italian Restaurant. Craving authentic Italian flavor? Meet Dino's Pizza and Italian Restaurant, your taste bud's new best friend in Wilkes-Barre. From premium pizzas to mouth-watering pastas, every bite is a slice of heaven. Family owned and operated for 2 generations, Dino's is proud to serve you with passion and tradition. Conveniently located inside the Wyoming Valley Mall, Dino's is open daily for dine-in or takeout. Don't feel like leaving home? No problem. Have it delivered right to your doorstep by ordering online at dinospizzaandrestaurant.com or on DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, and Slice. Dine in, order online, or call 570-829-2601. Taste your tradition at Dino's Pizza and Italian Restaurant today. Good Tree MMA presents Food Fight. I'm your host, Brian DiMattei. I'm here with my friend, my trainer, my coach, and also one of the owners of Good Tree MMA Wilkes-Barre and Dunmore location, Tom McGuire. Tom,
Hey,
welcome to Food Fight.
Hey man, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely,
awesome.
man. Had to have someone from the gym come over here, represent, you know what I mean? And I know when I presented you the idea about becoming a sponsor for the show, I said I felt like I couldn't do the show without you guys being part of it. You know what I mean? You guys were able, you reached out to me, it was almost last year already,
right,
to come work for you guys, and we'll talk more about that later on. But I appreciate all you did for me, and now we're here. We get the podcast live. I think it's our 7th episode, and we're rocking and rolling. I absolutely love it.
That's awesome. It's been great to see you, get into this and see like the journey from like nothing to, however it goes. It's one of the best things about like training, the way you meet people like that, and generally like there's these like improvements, people start going for it, and that's really cool to see. So yeah, keep killing it, man.
I appreciate that, man. You too. When you see someone come in the gym every day, and like you said, they're there for, year after year after year, you really see the progression of people. You see people coming in, for example, for myself, I came in, I was overweight. What was I, about 250, 260 when I joined the gym?
Yeah, right.
I was ready to quit the first week because I was getting pushed around by people 100 pounds.
Yeah,
I didn't understand what was going on. Yep, I didn't understand what was going on. And then, Tyler and Rocco talked me off of my ledge, and I came back, and I've been here ever since. And the progression I've made, and then the progression I've seen, all the friends I met.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Getting better and better and better,
Yeah, you normally don't get that out of like playing volleyball with your pals or whatever.
Right.
But when you come to the gym and you start putting work in and you get good at like fighting Tyler, fighting Frankie, fighting Vito, like it becomes way easier to like crush it, at home, in business, whatever. Like if you could do that, improving the other aspects of your life normally are a lot easier, a lot more attainable.
I definitely agree. It definitely slows everything outside the gym down.
Yeah.
I still lose it once in a while. I still get pissed off and once in a while, but not like I'm doing a lot better. People cut me off or whatever. I'm just like taking a deep breath, and what am I gonna do? Throw him the finger, beep the horn? I might beep the horn still, just to get a little satisfaction.
Hey, we're not perfect. You know what I mean?
Just beep the horn
still
a little
work
bit.
In progress.
But things are much more peaceful. Problem solve more. I concentrate more. I definitely sleep better.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
for sure. So, the show's about food and MMA, but we're gonna get into a little bit of food, but we're gonna talk about MMA a lot. MMA helped my sobriety out a lot. It's a big part of my story. I think we should touch on that a little bit. But as far as food goes, if you had to, I ask everybody, your last meal. Tom, you got one more meal left, and that's it. What's your meal?
Can I say what just comes to my mind?
Whatever
right now?
Whatever you think about, bro.
Like,
absolutely.
It might change tomorrow.
You're on the spot right now. There's no change. Cheesesteak?
Yeah.
You making it yourself?
If I could have like the whole setup I need, yeah. Or I'd want like just a real good one.
Okay. What's your favorite cheesesteak in
ketchup,
there? Ketchup, yes.
Ketchup, mayo.
No mayo. No mayo, Tom.
Green peppers, onions.
I could get
That's
down.
a good base for wherever you want to go from there.
If I had to eat the onions and the peppers, I would. I like a plain cheesesteak, American cheese and ketchup. No mayo.
Yeah, mayo's good.
Ketchup
and
you need
mayo.
ketchup, though.
Ketchup and mayo.
Where are you getting cheesesteak from?
I don't know right now.
You ever have Cosmos?
I think a while ago
Okay.
I did.
All
I don't go out for cheesesteaks.
That's fair.
A lot now. I
make
used to
them
work at a hoagie shop, so
Oh, yeah?
yeah, I have high standards.
So how long did you work in a restaurant for?
I worked in restaurants in high school, and
Okay.
then in college, I worked at a hoagie shop.
Okay.
In downtown Scranton.
Okay.
It was awesome. Me
Yeah.
and my buddies.
Is it still there?
It is gone now. It's a parking lot now.
What was it?
South Park Hoagies.
South Park Hoagies.
Yeah, the owner was used to run Steve and Irene's up on
Okay.
Route 6. Really good stuff.
Okay.
Really good stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. What was your favorite hoagie to make? What was your
Cheesesteak.
special?
Cheesesteak. Yeah.
Was that what they were special for?
They were known. I mean, they were really good. Like really good. Their Italians were really good, and then their tuna melt. Like I have the secret recipe still. The tuna melt is awesome.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
And then cheesesteaks for sure.
Yeah. I like Italian hoagie. I do the Italian hoagie tour on my food page, the cheesesteak tour on the food page, and I've never really. I'll come across a few I didn't like. You're not going to see those, but the ones that I like, man, I definitely recommend those. So cheesesteak's your final meal.
Yeah.
So
today,
you know something about we were at Frank's. We're at JoJo's birthday party over the weekend, and Frank.
Happy birthday.
Yep, happy birthday. And Frank smoked a brisket.
Yeah.
And it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Now, I know you also do that as well. Did you teach Frank how to do it? Did Frank teach you? Or you both just self-taught by you separately?
So one of my favorite things about like smoking, barbecue is like how easy it is to get like really good knowledge and get yourself going. The brisket was awesome. It was amazing. Like every, food you have like that's really, really good. But as far as like getting going and figuring out, in my opinion, it's not that crazy. So, Frank's basically self-taught. We'll talk like, like how long did you do this or how to go for that, and that's what's cool too. Cause it's not like a baking recipe that's like always got to be like exactly precise gram for gram, smoking, you get to like, do it the way you like it or however you want to do it.
Okay.
So I'm a big fan of that too.
What goes into that? Like, what do you have to do? Like you gotta get the right. Are there cheaper smokers? Are there more? They're definitely cheaper. They're definitely more expensive. Yeah. Do you want to get one in the middle? It depends on what you're making.
So I started off with the cheapest one out there. It looked like a file cabinet with like a little electric grill insert.
Okay.
And it was awesome. And I did everything in there. It's nice because the cheap ones are big. They're like look like file cabinets. You know what I mean? And that was super cheap. That died on me, and it died on me at the same time my grill died.
Yeah.
I was like rigging together the smoker, but it was like a safety hazard and all that. So when my grill went, then I got a Pit Boss, which you can do grilling and smoking on, just like a Traeger and some other like really, really expensive ones. But Pit Bosses are nice and affordable for what you get, and it's so worth it.
You do it all year round?
All year round. Last night, was it pouring by you last night?
Was that?
Was it raining by you last night?
Rain in the wind,
yeah,
everything like that.
Right out at the grill last night.
Yeah.
Yep, burgers.
Crazy last couple of days of weather.
Yeah,
I'm ready for this. We got a spring tease in the weather right now. I'll take it. I was ready for the 60-degree weather, and now today it's
so nice.
35 degrees outside.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I keep my smoker like steps off my like porch, deck.
Yeah,
and all year round for sure.
I got you.
I'm not taking a break.
So we're still on the food there. We were just talking about how I am developing. People call it cauliflower ear. I'm a big broccoli eater, so it's definitely turning into like broccoli ear right there.
I see it. It's all purple and red.
Every time I talk to you guys about it, especially Tyler and yourself, you get a smile on your face, like you're happy that it's happening. What you say to me earlier that it proves
I'm not
what?
necessarily happy it's
I know you're
happening,
not
but it is like we were, when we were talking about it, it's almost like sort of like a rite of passage. It's not necessary. There's plenty of people that avoid it. Certain people that like live it or whatever, or get it a lot. But it is just like, you're going hard if you're getting it.
Frank and Gabby told me that Italians don't get cauliflower ear. Well, guess what? I'm Italian, and I'm developing cauliflower ear. So unless it goes away, I'm gonna put some butter and garlic on there. Maybe it'll go away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then once you get it, then sad news. I don't know if you're way more susceptible to just kind of keep getting it or whatever. Or sometimes it's just from hard training, right? So you have like a comp coming up now. You're going a little harder. Mm-hmm. It normally will happen the harder you go.
Well, Tyler had me doing the over underpass for like half an hour. So I'm just diving in there with my left ear, going back and forth. And you don't think about it while you're training. Then you get up and it's red and it's raw and it's hard. And it's like, this sucks so bad. I don't like wearing the headgear. Shannon always breaks my balls about now. You wear your headgear? I'm like, does it look like I wore my headgear? No. You know what I mean? But I wore it for comp practice last week. I needed to. I felt like it was going to blow up. You know what I mean? So let's talk a little MMA.
MMA.
You're the owner of 2 gyms. It started off with 1 gym.
Yep.
When did you get into that? What made you get into that? Well, then we'll get into your training.
Yeah. So me and Frank are the owners of the Dunmore location, and then it's me, Frank, and Tyler for Wilkes-Barre. Like, they're awesome guys. I've known them like so long. It's just silly now. I mean, Frank was probably 16 or so when I met him.
Oh, wow.
So Tyler was,
5,
very, very young also. So I've known them forever, and that's been great. I got into martial arts in high school, like Tangsudo, karate type stuff.
Okay.
And then in college, I got into judo and was hooked right away. So since 97 now, I've been training judo a lot. And then along the way, here and there, I, got into Brazilian jiu-jitsu because of like the ground fighting.
Okay.
And it helps so much for judo. And then, along the way, eventually got like just hooked on jiu-jitsu for jiu-jitsu. So at first, jiu-jitsu to me was like just the ground part of judo. Like that's all I cared about.
Okay.
Nothing else. Then after, doing jiu-jitsu and meeting people, and it's so similar, but you also get like the differences are real cool too. So, I'm a big fan of jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
Just for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you say you're pretty good at judo?
I would say I'm pretty good at judo. Yeah, jiu-jitsu's rough. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of good people out there.
Jiu-jitsu is rough, but you were pretty good at judo. Let's run through it. What kind of accomplishments? We got competitions. We just talked about competitions coming up.
So my favorite thing about me doing judo that like if I'm gonna like brag or whatever, it's that for like almost like a 10-year stretch, give or take, I competed a ton, and me and all my training partners. We just went out and did every competition we could. We traveled a ton. And like back then, there were some good days and there were some bad days. You know what I mean? But because we did that, right, now I think you see the results in Good Tree that we're able to have this super high level judo where it used to be you had to drive. You couldn't get judo around here. There was no such thing. You know what I mean? Just like now at Good Tree, you look at our like purple belts. Our purple belts are better than almost every instructor ever, until like these recent times. And so like having, people that are really looking to get good, I think that's the most important thing.
Okay.
But yeah, I've won some tournaments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can go out there, you gotta go for it. You know what I mean? But I was Masters national champion twice. Nice. I was freestyle judo Masters champion. I got into the sport real late, and one of my favorite things about judo and jiu-jitsu is that you can compete after college age, and then you can compete after 30 and 40, and it keeps everything a lot more relevant, a lot more competitive. You know what I mean? Like, I love going out and fighting 40-year-olds. You know what I mean?
Me too.
Fighting a 25-year-old professional jacked athlete, you're like, all right, this is going to suck.
Yeah.
It's cool to do it. But for competition, I love that judo and jiu-jitsu have masters competition. I think it's really awesome.
I agree. I'm a Masters 3 myself.
Yeah.
We're both Masters 3.
Because you didn't start when you were 10.
No,
I started when I was 20. Even by then, you're like, You know, I look up to these 20-year-olds now. I'm like, man, they're killing it. You know, so to start at 20, it's very rare someone is going to make it to that level. But there's still so much you can do in martial arts if you start at 20, 30, 40, 50. And you can't really say that about other sports or many other activities, you know?
I agree. I started training when I was 37. And I just turned 38 a few months after. I pretty much started when I was 38 years old. So it's been almost 5 years. June will be 5 years.
Nice.
And I see you guys competing, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, that's what kept me coming. After I said earlier about that first week I wanted to leave. And Tyler told me, like, that guy's getting ready for a competition. So he's going a little extra hard. I'm like, what do you mean competition? Like, oh, we compete in jiu-jitsu. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, we do tournaments. I'm like, oh, all right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's way cooler to look at these things as sports than like
That's the way I look at it.
mystical
It's a sport
fighting
to me.
arts. You know what I mean? It's a sport that just happens to solve all your self-defense issues and have all these other benefits that like other activities do also, but none of them are based around the idea of like fighting
Right.
and self-defense.
Right.
And I think because they are, that's why some of the benefits are more pronounced, you know, or make a bigger impact.
The benefits, we'll get into that real quick. The benefits, I mentioned earlier, helping my sobriety. I was like four and a half years sober-ish or something like that. I was doing real good. Just living my life. You know, I was working, I was lifting, but I was out of shape. I was overweight because I was lifting, but I was eating too much. So I was like a permanent bulk for like a year. But like I was just kept on gaining. I would eat good all day long, food prep, eat good all day. Then on nighttime, I'd have 2-3 pieces of pizza and a peanut butter cup every night. So I was going around my calories. Oh yeah, definitely adds up.
Yeah.
So when I joined the gym, Rocco finally got me to go to that free trial. The seminar like a Sunday morning. We did a little bit of judo and then a little bit of MMA.
Oh, I didn't even know that's how you got started.
I got started.
Yeah, we used to do those.
Rocco brought me to that.
Yeah.
We did a hip toss, which was really cool. A few other things. And we did some striking. And then I was like, all right, this is really, really cool. So I came back in for a free class. Frank told Rocco that, yeah, he could come in for a week, take a week. And then Tony was my salesman. He showed up, he was late, didn't show up, told me I would only take one free trial class. I'm like, well, take a couple. He goes, we can take a couple. I'm like, okay. So I came in for a couple of training classes, you know what I mean? So it worked out really, really well. And then the first week was rough. The first trial week was fun. Then when I signed up, my first official week was rough. I was getting beat up by those little guys, and I was like, this is awful. What the hell's going on? But then I realized what I was doing and what was going on, and I just kept on showing up. In the first couple of years, you probably know, like I didn't train a lot. My work schedule didn't allow me.
Yeah.
I trained on Tuesdays like twice, and then Wednesdays, and then when we finally moved time start for the competition practice on Saturday morning, I was able to come to that. But I wasn't training a lot the first couple of years. But my progression is slower than people I started with.
Yeah.
You know, G started 6 or 7 months before me, but he was training every day. He was so committed to those 6 a.m. classes, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he's got his purple belt. I'm still a blue belt. You got Keenan, who started almost a year after me or like 8 months after me. And I remember we went to dinner after one of the promotions, and Keenan was sitting there. He goes, my goal is to get my purple belt by this particular date. And I'm like, oh man, that's really, really soon. I got to put the work in, all that kind of stuff. And you know what? It wasn't a dig at him at all. And I told him this personally, but it was just like people in my ear, like, oh, you have to train for so long to move up.
So many
but
old
there's also,
like that.
there's training for 2 years, twice a week. Then there's training for 2 years, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
It might as well be like 5 years to me. What's your opinion on that?
Again, this is why I love that these things are sports, right? If we just trained by ourselves, then it's just like Frank's word. And Frank's, awesome and would have a super legit school and ranking system, of course. But the fact that it's a sport and you go get to like prove your rank and show your effectiveness at your weight class, at your rank, you know what I mean? No one can argue with Keenan's purple belt.
Absolutely not.
You know why? Because he won the
world.
world.
He's a fucking
championship.
world champion.
So what do you want him to
man.
keep?
Yep.
So he won it at blue belt.
Crushed it.
Nah. What I also love about martial arts, though, is you don't have to do that. Keenan did, and that's awesome. But you don't have to go out to be a blue belt world champion to be a purple belt.
Right.
You just got to get good. You fit it into your life, how it makes sense. some people like multiple sports. Some people like to do it at 6 a.m. Some people want to go real hard, you know. But anybody, if you get into it, you know, as long as you just stick it out, you're going to make progress that'll like blow your mind away. You know?
Keaton got his purple belt quicker. He competed a lot. He won a lot. He trained 5-6 days a week. You know what I mean? You know, G did the same thing, but G's not a big competitor. He doesn't get into it like we get into it. You know what I mean? I get him fired up once in a while at the club. I think he's coming to do the New York Open if he's feeling better. You know what I mean? But
go for it, G.
There's another example of someone that just comes in, trains hard, concentrates, and now he's an instructor for you guys at the school. Yeah. So he took a little different path, kind of the same path that I'm taking with you guys, because I want to be an instructor for the school. And I also compete. So there's like...
It's figuring out how to put that all together, balance that all out.
We're going, you know, we're getting ready for the game plan a lot. But old Tyler's also teaching me. Now I have the opportunity to work at the gym and train every single day.
Yeah.
We do even 20, 30 minutes every day is amazing. When you're drilling with one person and he's your coach and he's telling you what to do every day, he's yelling at you, do this, do that, and then you're laughing a little bit, you joke around a little bit, but I know it's serious. Like it's amazing.
It's crazy, right?
To be able to do that.
With that comes all the headaches and stress and everything else of making this your job, career, employment. But the way it allows you to spend so much more time with the sport, with your training partners, with your coaches, just involved in it. It's worth it. I love it.
You asked me, it was November of last year. Was it 22? November of 22?
Yeah,
November of 22.
Yep.
You guys brought me, because I remember standing on the mats, getting ready for when you and Rocco were teaching class together Wednesday nights. I remember standing on the mats years ago and be like, you know how cool it would be to work at the gym here and have an actual gym in the gym, a weightlifting gym. I could be a personal trainer and I could coach people for that. And I could also do jiu-jitsu and coach jiu-jitsu. That'd be amazing, you know? I was like a white belt. Like I was like so new to it, but that'll be amazing, you know? And me and Rocco have been friends I'm 42. So me and Rocco have been friends for like 35, 36 years. And to finally be able to share this together is amazing. But you guys brought me in the office. You're like, oh, you expressed interest about working for us. Would you want to do it? And at the time, I was working at the casino, dealing cards. You know, I had the bet. I remember you asked me that. My mind went right to the negative stuff instead of the positive stuff. Oh, it's going to be a pay cut. I'm not going to have insurance right now. How am I going to survive? Everything instead of the positive stuff. When I went home and I started stewing on it, the positive stuff, like you said, like, you're working, 4 days a week. These are the hours. You have so much time to do other stuff. And I'm like, well, I always wanted to be a personal trainer. I never went forward and studied for it and got certified to do it. That would allow me to do it. Then I'm stewing around for a couple of weeks, and Shannon goes to me. She's like, what's the matter with you the last couple of weeks? She's like, why are you moping around the house? I'm like, I'm sitting on the chair, and I look at her, and I said, I want to work at the gym with my buddies. She goes, you never talked to me about it. I never even went home and talked to her about it. She goes, why don't you call him up, and we'll figure it out. I go, you're willing to help me out if I quit the casino and work for them? It's going to be tight for a little while. She goes, you'd be happy? We do it. I'm like, okay, great.
There you go.
I called you.
There you go.
Long story short, hey, we already got somebody in. You'll be down next to go to Wilkes-Barre, all that kind of stuff. And, at that point, it was already in my mind. And I remember sitting on the mats the one day, and Frank told the story how he left school to do what he's doing now. And now he's one of the owners of the gym. He gets to do it every day. That motivated me. I went home. I applied for NASM certification for personal training. I lasted about 6 more weeks at the casino, and I finally broke down around Christmas time, and I quit. I put my 2-week notice in. I worked 4 days, and now I left in January. And now Wilkes-Barre, now we're at the point where the Wilkes-Barre location opened up January 2nd of 23. We just celebrated a year and some change now,
It's great.
Absolutely amazing, right?
Dude, me, you, our buddies, we've had a lot go on this 12 months, 14 months, whatever. And as we look back, I think Wilkes-Barre starting is going to be the craziest thing as we look back.
Yeah.
Because when you see what's going to happen the next year with Wilkes-Barre, the fact that it was started January of 2023, it's almost like laughable.
Now the mats are full. We're running out of room.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
I know. It'll keep, I'm sure, with Tyler, anyone who's trained with Tyler, have gotten coached by Tyler, even if it's only been a bit, you're like, yeah, that dude's going to crush it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's doing amazing down there. So we're in January. I'm like, okay, I left my job. I have no job. I'm procrastinating, studying for personal training, but I'm doing jiu-jitsu every day. So I'm down at the new gym, helping Tyler out with the kids' classes, unofficially, coaching the kids' class a couple days a week, because I've been an assistant instructor with you guys for years now, which is getting me ready to be a real instructor, which I can't wait to actually do that, I have my own class, But I was down there a couple of days a week, and then I would train, come to Dunmore more. Then I spend more time at Wilkes-Barre. And then, let's fast forward to May. I got in there as a sales. You guys hired me as, the other guy down there. Handle the clients, do the sales, make sure everybody's coming to class, make sure everybody's happy, everything like that. And it was a rough month.
Yeah.
Doing sales. I worked in customer service my whole life and all that kind of stuff. But trying to sell a product and doing it the right way and not saying the wrong things, it's been a learning curve for me.
Yeah.
When did you learn how to do that?
So I started, doing that part in the business, when we moved up by Warhorse. So I didn't really sell when we were in Mulberry or Capouse, but then when we started Scranton MMA, I started selling there, and I've been doing it either then on and off. At a certain point, I forget when we started bringing people in. Tyler might have been one of the first salespeople. I don't know if I have that wrong because he's just been there forever.
Yeah.
But selling to people, face to face like that. Now I had jobs before that helped a little bit, so I was like okay with sales. But changing careers into sales is always interesting.
It was.
Yeah.
It was
dealing with rejection and people not calling you back.
That bothered the
people
hell
just
out of me.
ghost you, and you're like, we were buddies.
Yeah.
What happened?
That bothered me first couple months.
Yeah.
I used to get anxious about people. We'll pay you tomorrow, or post dated for Friday. I'll be back in tomorrow.
Yeah. Someone saying no doesn't even bother me that much.
Now it's I deal with it. Now don't get me wrong. I want everything to be perfect.
Right.
But I know that's not going to be, and I don't lose sleep. I used to wake up thinking I'd take my phone. They message me back. Now it's just like I see my phone in the morning message. I'm like, I'll just read those later. I never understood how all you guys that work at the gym could have so many unread messages, and including mine. I'm like, God, don't check. Oh yeah, I checked them, but there's so many of them. I never understood it until I started working for you guys.
Yeah.
Now I'm just like, all right, I have
a lot of people you
14
deal
messages unread.
Yeah.
I need to save those so I can read them in front of the computer, because I'm going to have to mark down dates and payments, all that kind of stuff. Now I get that now. Totally get that. I'm used to it now.
Yeah. When it comes down to that, like, you have to be so organized and like almost strategic, even though you're dealing with something that's very, very personable, on like a friend level, but you still have to be like very organized so you don't let I think of it as like, I can't let 14 people down.
Right.
I can't mess up 14 people that could end up getting into, judo, jiu-jitsu. Like, I know, and I really believe can like change their life and make them better. So it's like, you got to be organized and figure out like, how do you,
I agree.
I agree. How do we get all these people training, Brian?
You just touched.
How do we get everyone?
Come on in for a free class.
Try it
to
out.
sell it yourself. You just touched on that a little bit. Like you're selling something that you believe in.
Big time.
I believe in that. I know what jiu-jitsu did for me personally and physically.
Yeah.
So when I tell someone, listen, this could change your life, I'm not bullshitting them.
No.
'Cause it changed my life. It gave me, it's not that my life was pretty boring before I started training. It was just rolling through the motions. I was also working night shift at the casino. I was working 6:30 at night till 3 in the morning.
Yeah, that's rough.
It's a rough shift.
Yeah.
So when I joined the gym, the next day my boss asked me if I wanted to go to day shift. I'm like, because day shift there is like 11 to 7, which isn't horrible. It's not 9 to 5. 9 to 5 would be better. But 11 to 7 allowed me to have a little bit of a social life. You know what I mean? Watch the fights on Saturday night instead of having to take work off. So I switched over to the day shift, started training more, and my life just took a really, really good path. And I've been sticking it out. And now, I'm part of the gym. I'm helping the Wilkes-Barre grow. It's a very satisfying job. And I'm a personal trainer now. I do the group fitness class at the gym. I use this. You guys let me use the space to train other people for right now. Hopefully, if and when we expand, get into the bigger space, can have a little bit of peace on the end there. You know what I mean? So it's
They
really
go well together, right?
It's really
fitness with martial arts go really well together.
I agree.
You take care of a lot of problems if you train and keep your body healthy.
Yeah, I'm lifting now. Let's talk about competition, Tom.
All right.
You're a little more seasoned than me as far as competing goes. You started doing it when you were younger, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I used to play football and do powerlifting in my 20s and stuff like that, but like nothing compares to doing jiu-jitsu tournaments. I remember my first tournament I ever did was the in-house tournament, and we're going back 4 years now, maybe even longer than that. Me, Corey, John, we're all white belts going against each other. Matt, all those guys, right? And I remember I could not sleep the night before. I think you guys taught me Osotogari into scarf, and I'm like, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna do that move tomorrow. That's the only thing I'm gonna do, and it's all I thought about. How cool it would be to get that takedown, fall right into scarf, and put an arm triangle on this guy. It'd be unbelievable. That's what I'm gonna do tomorrow. And then I finally, didn't sleep. Got up the next day, and I did everything that I would not normally do for jiu-jitsu, like different breakfasts and different drinks, you know what I mean? All different things that I would not normally do, because it was like, what am I doing, right? So I remember the first match, it was just a disaster. Yeah. Guy crushed me. I went for the takedown. He took me down. He beat me in like 27 seconds. And then me and Corey had our second match, and we went the distance, but I lost on points. But I look back on some of those films, I'm like, oh my God, right? Now we fast forward years. I'm about 20 tournaments in. Yeah. I do everything different. Right? I do everything the same. Whatever I did this morning. Yeah. Now I'm just like, I don't need to do anything different. I don't get anxious about it anymore. Night before, I don't get nervous. I don't play.
It took me longer than 20 tournaments probably, but you get to that point where you can, think clear, be more strategic, more focused,
be relaxed. You're not pissing every fucking 10 minutes. You're not going to the bathroom. Well, where are the bathrooms? Where are the bathrooms? You're so nervous. Your belly's a mess. Butterflies are all over the place. I get that little feeling when I sign up and I start getting dressed, and match is coming on soon. And there's some tournaments you don't know when the hell you're gonna go on. Yeah, so those suck. You do the local tournaments, so like you can compete at 12 or at 4. Yeah, or you go to IBJJF. What time 1:35 is my match.
Those are the best.
1:35, and if they start before me, they'll wait till 1:35. They won't disqualify
you. Warm up the right way.
Yep. They don't prepped. Yeah. They don't DQ you. I remember they called me in earlier for my one match in New Haven. I wasn't warm up. Listen, can I warm up? Oh yeah. They're like, yeah, warm up in the bullpen. I'm like, perfect. So they butt my match one so I could get a little warm up, because I was warming up.
But you weren't ready.
But I wasn't ready because I was just started, and they're like, okay, I have 20 minutes till my match start time. And they're like, Brian, do you even come to the bullpen? I'm like, shit. Yeah. So
we just start talking about competition. I'm like,
I get all fired up.
I mean, to me, it's like it's one of the most important things you can add to just your basic martial arts training that'll, makes everything stick more. It makes, it helps you progress so much faster. You can have so much more fun, so many more different cool memories and experiences. So yeah, I get fired up talking about competition. I love it.
I definitely do. I know you guys still do a lot of judo tournaments. Not yourself yet.
Not yet.
Sooner or later, you get back into it. Sooner or later. Yep.
We'll see. I'm like training hard, so I'm like, man, if I'm gonna get the crap kicked out of me by Vito, I might as well go and compete and do it. So we'll see. Yeah. I'll keep you posted.
We just talked about like we're going down to Florida for IBJJF Pans, me, Keenan, and Andrew, and Tyler's coming down to coach us. And I initially backed out of it. I'm like, I don't want to do it. I said I didn't want to train hard. I said I'm busy with everything else going on, the podcast, personal training, all that kind of stuff. My elbows hurt, whatever the fuck it was, right? But ultimately it came down to what I tell you. I don't want to lose weight. I didn't want to lose 12. I don't want to cut weight for 8 weeks to go do a lower weight class when my strongest at 200. And I'm lifting heavy now. And I talked to Tyler about it, talked to you guys about it. And I decided, we're coming home from a Ryan Hall seminar. And Keenan goes to me from the front seat. He's like, so what? You're going to come down to Florida with us, step on those mats, and not regret not competing? And I just sat back. I'm like, they know what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Because when I decided I wasn't going to do it, all I thought about was doing it. But I also thought about, well, I don't want to lose 10, 12 pounds, so I just don't want to do it.
Yeah, the weight cutting stops so many people from competing, and it's, in my opinion, completely ridiculous. Like, you shouldn't worry about cutting for 90+% of your tournaments.
Yeah.
Like, they really shouldn't, you know. And then, you know, there's certain things like, until you're like a purple belt or brown belt, like, why even bother cutting? There's really doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
You mentioned that years ago too.
Yeah.
We talked about it because I lost the weight. We mentioned earlier about Keenan getting his purple belt because he won. He deserved it because he trains hard enough, and he's a competitor, and he won. You know, probably the biggest tournament in the world.
Yeah. For Masters,
he became a Masters world champion, and he likes to torture himself losing weight. That's his thing. You know what I mean? But
it has its benefits, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know?
For him, he being that super heavyweight, it's a different story for him. He be in that like over the 220, like 227 tournament. So he goes down the weight class, which I think was your opinion. I think that benefits him because those other guys, because Keenan's a big boy.
Yeah.
But those guys in the super higher weight class, you know, they got 4 or 5 inches sometimes.
Yeah.
Extra weight. You know what I mean? So Keenan's definitely strategically does the right thing, I think. I think he would dominate any weight class he was in, personally.
Yeah, most likely. He would have won the weight class above.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
So we talked about it. You know, I lost 15 pounds to go to Vegas in the summertime. Did it slowly over the course of like 10, 12 weeks. It wasn't horrible. I still ate pizza, some sweets, you know what I mean? But I couldn't just eat what I wanted to eat. And I wasn't lifting either because... This episode is brought to you by Genoa Wholesale Foods, a family-owned pizza and restaurant supply company located in northeastern Pennsylvania. Genoa carries over 500 different products and provides services to hundreds of pizzerias, restaurants, delis, and taverns. Tomato products, cheeses, flour, spices, poultry, meats, pastas, appetizers, oils, paper products, pizza boxes, you name it, Genoa has got you covered. Call Genoa today at 570-823-6142 or visit them online at genoafoods.com. Again, that's 570-823-6142 or GENOAFOODS.com. Genoa Wholesale Foods, servicing the pizza and restaurant industry since 1947. This episode is brought to you by T-Shirts and 24. With over 60 years of experience in screen printing, T-Shirts and 24 provides screen and digital printing on almost any apparel, as well as promotional items. No order is too large or small. Easy to design your own custom apparel online using their free online design tool. They offer pickup options to most regions in Northeast Pennsylvania. Plus, they offer nationwide shipping, and if time is crucial, opt for the 24-hour turnaround and same-day shipping options. Call T-Shirts and 24 today at 570-471-7588 or visit them online at tshirtsand24.com. I was doing jiu-jitsu. It was the first time that I was doing jiu-jitsu every single day for hours, sometimes 2 sessions a day. I figured, you know, lifting weights would be overkill and my body wouldn't recover too well. Well, now we fast forward to now. I decided I'm going to do a 208 weight class. I'm already at weight and I lift every 3 days. Full body workout every 3 days. I'm getting stronger and stronger. And I think it's going to make a big... Now, as you know, strength, technique is the most important thing in jiu-jitsu. But what do we always say? You got 2 people, 200 pounds, 5'9", technique's exactly the same. Stronger person winning 9 out of 10 times. What's your opinion?
I would just like to leave, no one ever got done with a fight and said they were glad that they were weaker than the other guy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No matter what, you would like to be stronger, you'd like to be faster, and you'd like to have more endurance.
Mm-hmm.
Just, you know,
Yeah.
you have so much say in it. You get to choose how much you want to play those cards or put into it. You know, when I was younger, I wanted to stack the deck in my odds. I wanted to be the strongest, you know, I wanted to be the heaviest, you know, with weight cutting, and I wanted to have the most endurance, you know, because unfortunately I knew I didn't have the technique of some of these other guys, so I tried to maximize what I could get out of strength and endurance training, you know, in that way. But now I'm not cutting.
No.
You know what I mean? I'm all my Masters tournaments, you know, that I won were at much higher weight classes than when I fought as a senior, you know, under 30.
Yeah.
Much, much heavier, you know.
You used to compete at what, 147?
145 for the most of my...
145.
senior career. Yeah. And so that's hard. It takes a lot, you know, and just like everything else with time and practice and education, I got better at it, but it was always something.
Did you ever do an extreme night before weight cuts? Now we talk about weight cuts. Now I cut weight like a bodybuilder would cut weight, slowly over the course of 3 months.
So in like the judo circles, we normally refer to that as like your diet, right? Like I would get my weight like a week before the tournament. I'd probably be 15 to 17 pounds above the weight. And then
it's a lot.
It's a lot. But, you know, whatever.
So what you do for a week then?
So then the last week involves a whole bunch of things like water loading and then cutting water out.
Explain water loading, please.
About 4 days before you're weighed, you know, you start chugging extra amounts of water and you get your body used to getting rid of water.
Yeah.
So then, you know, 12, 18 hours before a tournament or before the weigh-in for the tournament, you would stop drinking water. You flush it out really, really quick, especially if you started to deplete carbs and deplete sodium, all which is terrible for your health, performance, and all that stuff. You know what I mean? But, you know, and again, that's another thing I love about Good Tree now is we're able to give people so much better guidance. Don't do all the dumb crap we did. Like, you know, there's stuff I couldn't even talk about, like dumb stuff we did for weight cutting when we didn't know. Yeah. Now we know. So now when like anyone wants to cut, first we're like, no.
There's no need for it.
No. But then like as people, like our fighters, right? Like they're going to be cutting weight, like our pro, you know.
Yeah.
So then we can at least give them the right way to do it. And then they're more experienced to take on that level of risk, you know, because it's got to be a personal choice.
Yeah.
You know.
It's exhausting cutting weight.
Oh, I did harder than the tournament.
I did a Fuji tournament and I wanted to get to 199. I was like 205, 206. But like I decided I wanted to get to 199 the week before. So I didn't eat carbs for the whole week.
Yep.
Lowered my sodium. And just drank tons of water. I ate my normal food. Yeah. But I made sure that, you know, people get all caught up on the keto diet because, oh my God, I lost 10 pounds in the first week.
It's awesome.
For
the scale, it's awesome.
But some people actually think they lost 10 pounds of fat.
Can't help everybody.
I'm like, you just pissed. Yeah. The reason everyone gets turned on by the keto diet is because
the initial weight loss.
Don't get me wrong. I got nothing against any of those diets. If they fit your lifestyle and you can not eat pizza, knock yourself out. Shit. More power to you. Yep. I'm not one of those people.
I don't like my abs that much. Yeah,
it's all about calories in versus calories out. So people get turned on by the keto diet. But back to what I was saying is I knew that if I lowered my sodium, and I'm a salt whore. I put salt on everything. Same. I put salt on salt. And I know if I lowered my sodium, I didn't eat carbohydrates for the week, I make my weight. So I'm, you know, blah, 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 blah. I wake up the morning of 198. Oh, perfect. I can't eat now.
Yeah,
I can't
Timing
drink it.
I have to drive. Than people realize.
I gotta drive to Allentown now and weigh in. So I drive to Allentown for the tournament, weigh in. I was still at that point a year or so ago. I was still getting a little nervous before my fights, before my matches. So I brought my breakfast with me, but I couldn't really eat it because I was like sick. I was like, I'm in tournament mode now, and I don't want to eat now. And I got my ass kicked that tournament. Rocco was there to coach me, and I just got beat the fuck. I lost 4 matches, and these guys. Know what the worst part is? They mixed the weight class together anyway.
Yeah, they mixed the weight. Some cosmic joke in there.
They mixed the 199 with the 215. So I'm going against guys that are 214, but I'm like a weak flower. I had no strength. Yeah. I had nothing
it shows
going
you
on.
You give up to make the weight.
It was very uncomfortable. My jiu-jitsu wasn't the greatest at the time either, but I was gassing out. I was getting cramps. My strength was down the wire. You know, it was just I wasn't myself. And I felt when I went to Las Vegas for the Worlds, I was 188, but I felt good. I was 188 on a nice slow diet cut. You know what I mean? Where I lost the weight slowly, so I was strong. But again, I wasn't lifting. And then my jiu-jitsu just failed me. You know, I got my back taken, and the guy puts that, not the body lock, but like the arm, the leg scissor. He puts his legs around your waist. The fuck is it called?
He just hooks in?
No, not the hook. The other, not a body lock. I always say it wrong. the body scissors, whatever the hell it's called. They put the legs around your waist.
Like guard.
The body triangle.
Body triangle.
God.
I thought you said not the body triangle.
We'll keep that in.
What is this dude talking about?
We're going to keep, no, cut that. We'll keep that in.
Depression.
That was horrible.
No, when someone puts a body triangle on you,
I couldn't get the word out.
Sucks.
Yeah, body
It
triangle.
sucks.
And I didn't know how to escape it. So I'm trying to sit up and do this. And
It just sucks.
when we got home from the tournament, like I know we watched the video. I know what I did wrong. We've been learning ever since. So we're going to pans now. We get a different outcome. You know what I mean?
It's cool to see that progress. You know what I mean? Like you go from not knowing how to sleep or eat before a tournament to like, and if you can handle that, it says a lot.
And I think we talked about this before. Do you believe in overtraining?
It's a real thing.
It's a real
Most people who ever bring it up are not overtraining.
Why do you say that?
Because they're not. But like, so give or take, everyone ever who said that, if they're not training our 6 a.m. program, then you're not overtraining. It is almost, impossible if you just come at night to overtrain. You get into overtrain.
You mean the average person?
Yeah.
That's not, okay.
You might be overtraining for your current diet,
Fitness.
your current recovery, your current
fitness level.
But so there's that too. Like, I'm overtraining. It's like, no, bro, you just got to get in shape. You just got to get in shape. You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
When people are like, I think I'm overtraining, like odds are if they just kept doing what they're doing for 3 to 4 months, they'd be like, oh, all right, now I'm in shape.
Yeah.
And that's when you can overtrain.
And they're probably sleeping like babies at night.
Yeah.
When you're, in my opinion, overtraining, I've overtrained a few times in my life. When I don't sleep well for 2 nights in a row, when I'm up, irritated, I know I'm overtrained. But that's when I'm training for Worlds. When I was training 2-3 times a day. And even then,
that's when you got to manage it. That's the most important time to manage it.
That's just
when you're really pushing.
When you're really, it got to the point where I came in and I told Tyler, listen, Tyler, I go, I know we're training hard. I go, I can't bend my wrists right now. I go, I'm not sleeping well. The weight's not coming up. So if you sleep like shit, you're not losing that weight.
Yeah.
I'm sleeping like shit. My wrists are killing me. I can't even bend them right now. I go, it took a lot for me to ask him. I'm like, I need a day.
I get it. Yeah.
I need a day, bro. And he gave me the day. And I relaxed. I went home. I ate a bunch of food. I slept. I chilled out. Woke up the next day. Felt fucking great. And I trained every day since. Just sometimes you just need a day. And some people might frown upon that. They're like, oh, you got to push through it. Or, well, there's pushing through it. And then there's hindering your progress because you physically can't get through it. What's your opinion on that?
I mean, that's when experience and coaching, I think, plays a big part. Because again, like I did all of it wrong. You know what I mean? Like we had no one and we were just trying to figure it out and do it all backwards ways or whatever. And then you start learning, like, how do you balance you need your technique, right? But that's only like one slice of the pie. You need your strength and conditioning, you need your diet, you need your sleep, you need your active recovery, whatever. And it's like, how do you manage all of that to be the best athlete, the best person you can be?
That's perfectly put.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the most important thing is to learn and improve. Like, I want you to win. I really hope you win your tournament. Like, I really do.
Yeah.
But like, I way more care about you winning that tournament as a brown belt and black belt. So blue belt, like, just go, learn, get the experience. Like, odds are, as when you're a purple belt or a brown belt, you're gonna get to like walk through one of those camps or coast through one of those camps. Why? Because you've done it 4 or 5 times. You're gonna be in better shape going into camp. You're gonna eat better during shape. You're gonna sleep better. You know what I mean? Like, so the more you push yourself, the more you're able to learn and improve.
Yeah.
So that's like the biggest thing when people are like, oh, I'm not going to compete. And look, I'm guilty of this too. You know what I mean? But when you're like an active competitor, go compete.
Yeah.
Go learn.
You guys are absolutely
and then
right.
just improve on that process.
You guys are absolutely right.
And as someone who's going to be a coach and growing into that role, like, you owe it to not only yourself, but all your future students, all the dudes, all the people you're going to be teaching 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Like, you need to get the most out of these next 5-10 years. So you got to learn everything you can now, so then you can give it back.
Yeah.
During the rest of your life.
I've started the process of taking care of my body more, so I can't compete in 10 years. Tom, I'm 42.
Yeah.
You're a young man yourself, just like I am. You know what I mean? But we are in our 40s.
Yeah.
And
I really believe, again, this is something like for 90+% of the people we see, there's no reason or excuse at all to get injured doing jiu-jitsu.
Just have to be careful. I'm
Yeah.
always aware. I'm aware of my
Shut your
limbs
ego
are.
off.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, there's plenty of blue belts that, if I went hard with just to not lose, I'd be paying the price that I have no business doing. Do you know what I mean? So jiu-jitsu allows you to train with someone like Keenan size and be safe, or train with like, a spaz, or someone who has no idea what they're doing.
You got to hold them down, man. They're dangerous.
Yeah, right. But with the right amount of experience, and effectiveness, like me as a purple belt now, I generally feel I can at least be safe with anybody. I don't like losing. I don't like getting tapped by freaking blue belts. But yeah, I'm going to get tapped instead of being injured.
I agree.
No way.
I agree.
No
There's
way.
a lot of times where, bigger guys or whatever.
Yeah. 15, 20 years ago, not a chance. The amount of risks I took with my body, because it didn't matter. It didn't matter as much as just winning, one more title, one more championship. So you do that. I was one of those exceptions, even though it might have been stupid. But I was like going for it. Now, when you look at like the lifetime of a competitor, how much safer it can be, how much better you can get, especially like through the lower ranks. Like, don't get, this is something that like sucked. By the time I got good at this stuff, my body had paid such a price that was like, great. Now I have all this knowledge and experience, but like the vehicle behind it was compromised. So in like jiu-jitsu as a white belt and blue belt, if you can just get through it unhurt, which is really easy. Now you're a good blue belt. Now you can start going way harder, pushing more, and still keep yourself really, really safe.
Yeah. There could be some times when I'm rolling, I think you touched on it too, like when I'm rolling with, say, newer guys or much bigger guys, when they're doing stuff that they don't really know what they're doing, but they're just going for stuff, like just like I did when I first started.
Yeah.
That's like you do. That's like you probably did. We started training, but it's like, okay, I could probably get my leg around him and block him here, but at what price?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna let him pass me, and I'll work from there.
I never risk my joints.
I'm super careful with my legs, not my neck and my legs, and now I got to be careful with my. I'm managing. We deal with forearm pain. Do we not? Do we not?
Yeah,
forearm pain.
Listen, I don't want to get emotional on this podcast and start crying. All right, but your hands.
Yes, my hands, my forearms, my elbows. Tom, you know what's amazing? I have about 10 personal training clients. 9 of them suffer from the same exact thing we suffer. It's a pandemic. You know what it's from? From the cell phone.
Yeah, from this.
It's from this.
Everyone's like
it's
this.
It's going like
all
this.
Day.
It's this motion like this. This is the motion right here. And I am as guilty as sin.
Got to open them up.
Yeah, it's amazing. When I left the casino.
I almost brought the Rolio.
Did you? Oh, I'm going to touch base on that.
Shout out to Rolio. Hit me up to sponsor us.
I turned Tom into this machine. It looks like a little foam rollers in this little contraption for your arms. You run your arms through it, and it's absolutely amazing. Yeah, absolutely really amazing. But it turns out all these people have that. They have the elbow pain. They got the forearm pain. My fiance suffers from it, and we turn each other on to I turn you on to the ART treatment as well. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that really helps. But a big part of it for my first couple of years of training was I was lifting weights heavy, coming in the same night doing jiu-jitsu, but I was gripping like a madman. I would grip your collar like you owe me money, instead of gripping it lightly now and then gripping it hard when I need to.
Exactly.
I'm learning that now, but I paid the price. First few years I started training when I was 38. Now I'm 42, I'll be 43. I don't consider myself old. I'm in better shape now than I was in my 20s and my 30s. But the body gets natural wear and tear as we get older. So I'm in the process of treating my body a lot better with the food I put into it, vitamins I put into it, and the way I work out and exercise and recover. Because I'm in the long haul. You mentioned it a long time ago. You're a black belt, bro. You'll be a black belt. You're sticking around with us.
Yeah,
and I'm a blue belt. I'm hopefully purple belt by the summertime. But, my goal is to become a black belt. But my goal is just to be really good at jiu-jitsu and be a good instructor. And I know if I stick around, that's going to come. And, a lot of people online, our places be like, people will post pictures of like, got my first stripe on my white belt today. Like, I remember that feeling. It's an amazing accomplishment. But then people will shit on people, be like, oh, what's the big deal with this piece of tape? Well, you're just miserable.
Yeah.
And you want to bring.
You don't train, or you're training at the wrong place.
You're miserable and want to bring me down.
What the beginning of this journey is like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the beginning's an important part. Like, you're always going to have these like stories and memories of how things got started. Where I am now, it's like hysterical to me that I started this as a gym class at the University of Scranton, all because I quit the hockey team.
Oh, no
like
shit.
I was already in, I wouldn't have been a lifelong martial artist if it wasn't for that. Then I got started with that coach and those few training partners, and we got into it as like our, the university competition team and all that. And it's like now to like where we are,
That's awesome.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm pumped when I see people get real excited about like the beginning part. That's why I love teaching beginner jiu-jitsu.
Me too.
I love teaching advanced stuff. It's cool, and helping competitors and all that. I really, really like that. But there's something about teaching someone's first 20 classes.
Yeah.
I
that's pretty awesome. That. They come in and they're nervous. I tell people my story all the time. I'm like, they come on the mat like, I'm real nervous. I'm like, I said, it's okay.
Yeah.
I walked on the mat my first time with my best friend who was an instructor here. I felt like I was alone. I go, it's normal. I go, I promise you, everybody on this mat felt the same way you felt when they first came in.
And we got to make dumb jokes with them until they can
dumb
relax
jokes,
and realize we're not just going to kill them.
I get them I always set them up with a good partner. I don't let them sit there and be wild. I'll be like, because there's a few guys that are in the gym. I asked the person, I'm like, hey guys, do you mind if I gave you a new person when they come in? Oh, no, that's great. Because some people, some more of the advanced guys, they don't want to do the punch block series the whole time we're doing the moves when they're their other partner. But they should be doing it the whole time. But sometimes they don't, But you give them a brand new guy, they're doing the moves the whole 10 minutes we're doing the moves. You know what I mean? Because to them, it gets them rejuvenated about what they're doing,
I just always think about how many people had to help me just to get started. Mm-hmm. Just to get started and make it into martial arts. That like I love, returning that. And then it's the same thing, like in order for me to be a competitor, what people had to do to help me. I know what it's like because I've done it for others, and it's like, so now you feel like it's really worth it to give back and help that next generation or your training buddy or whatever it is. When
you train somebody, now you train more judo people than you train jiu-jitsu people for competition, correct?
Yeah.
People that you've been training from the beginning, I'm going somewhere with this, like say Vito, for instance. Did you train Vito differently as you coached him longer? Did you learn more and more of the best ways to coach him?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I mean, so I started with Vito.
I'm using Vito as an example,
but
just in general with anybody.
But that's a good example. Like, 15 plus years ago, I was coaching him. So like he's gotten 500 years better in that 15 years time. So that's nice. So I have to coach him differently, but also like, I really like to think I've improved so much just as a coach, right? Like in that time, I've become more effective at martial arts, and that's good. That's the whole point. And I improved and got better and won stuff. But at that same time, I like to think I became a much, much better coach, by the same way you get good at, jiu-jitsu teaches you how to become a better coach. It's the same thing. I had to learn from people. Some people can teach you a move, and that's awesome. But like coaching, especially if we get into something where like, again, it's not just the judo, right? Like I got to help you get your strength and conditioning, your job so you can travel, the recovery, the planning, the strategy. How do you coach someone to be able to do all of that?
Right.
I think it's important to improve on that.
Yeah. So I was getting to with that is that our camp now for Pans is different than the way Tyler had me training for Worlds. We are training hard on certain days, but there's a lot of days where we're getting reps.
Yeah.
I told him, I always lay it down to when I became a craps dealer at the casino. It was horrible. Absolutely horrible. No one wanted to play on my side. No one wanted Brian to deal to them because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, right? We have class for 2 months, I learned. 4 hours a day for 2 months. 5 days a week, we learn how to deal craps. You get out the table, it's a whole different story, man. It's a whole different story. You got the lights. You got 18 people playing craps. You got thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in front of you you're responsible for. The game is a really fast-paced game. You have some dealers on the table that are really nice and help you, but a lot of them were jerks and forgot that they used to be brand new. And I couldn't stand with people like that. I cannot
no one
stand
likes that. In
people like that.
any aspect of life.
Like, if I'm sorry you're miserable with your life and your job right now, but don't take it out on me. Don't forget where you came from. So a lot of people help. So I remember that when when I became a seasoned craps dealer, new people come out, they'd be shaking. They do nothing scarier. Like, it's terrifying. You're surrounded. I can't even explain it. But they come out, they're shaking, they're nervous, they can't grip the stick, they can't grip the chips. Just lean over the table and be like, hey, bro, it's going to be okay, man. It's just us. Forget the players. You put them in, you're in charge of the players. The players are in charge of you. And they calm down a little bit. Some of them calm down a little bit. You know what I mean? But never forget where I came from. And that's when I realized that I wanted to be some kind of teacher or instructor. And I get to do that now. But going back to the way, like, the coaching styles. So you get different coaching styles and you learn how your student responds to things. I told Ty, I need reps. I got better at craps when I went to my boss and said, listen, I need to be on this game every day or at least more than once a week because I need to learn it more. I need the reps.
How are you going to get good at it?
And he got me on the game more and more, and I dealt it more and more, and I learned it more and more. And then when I finally put the players in their spot, I don't know if you ever played craps before, but you can have 5 people screaming their bets at you at the same time. And when I became seasoned, I hear one bet at a time. And I would ask everybody else, but the one player is like, what's your bet, sir? I already told you. I'm like, you told me 4 minutes ago when they were talking. I go, what's your bet? Either tell me now or it's a no bet. That was it. Every player looked at me and be like, all right, we can't mess with this guy around anymore. And that was it. And they stopped doing it. They try to push you around, get the most, they're going to get you all messed up and all that kind of stuff. But Tyler has me training differently now. We're training hard, but we're training a lot of reps, a lot of easier. He's been doing more striking to get my feet. He goes, you have cement blocks. I'm like, I know I do.
Loosen up
my feet are like cement blocks.
I watched a lot of coaches, and generally speaking, and I didn't believe this until I started really witnessing it at tournaments. Normally, the best coaches are nowhere near like the loudest, yelling, screaming
maniacs.
Often this isn't 100% of the case, but most often, bad coaches or the lower tier coaches are the ones that are like doing that like emotional stuff and trying to put pressure on or freak out,
what are you doing? Why are you doing that? I don't respond to that
listen
shit,
to
man.
me.
I don't respond to that very well.
Odds are that's not the coach you want coaching you, your son, whatever, I got really, one of my coaches really got me to focus on you gotta get better at coaching. At the time, I probably might have been 33, and he's like, your days are limited, bro. You know what I mean? He's like, I've known you, you've been training this long,
your competition days are limited.
Yeah, and you look at there's not a lot of dudes doing anything in judo past 33. Especially if you weren't good in the first place. So that's when he was like, it wasn't even about stopping training. It was about taking this all in to be able to give back to your students.
I understand.
And if you're able to focus on being a better coach, then you can be a better coach, help more people.
Yeah, it's great. It's extremely rewarding to be in that position.
Yeah.
Teaching the kids is incredible.
Right.
Frustrating at times?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you're around a bunch of 6-year-olds, the 12-year-olds, it's gonna be a little
even
frustrating.
Adults, you ever look at adult and you're just doing the arm bar wrong.
Yeah. What are you doing?
I wish I could just give it to you.
Yeah.
But you can't. So you got to figure out what's the most effective and efficient way to get them.
Grab his right wrist. Oh wait, nope, that's his left ankle. That's his left ankle. Grab his wrist. No, his wrist.
We were doing the arm triangle, and that to me is one of the hardest moves.
One of my favorite subs.
It is, right? But
favorite.
were you good at it right away?
No.
Mine was
Because that's the kind of move, you know, if you agree with me or not, that's the kind of move where you could do 99.9% of the shit right, but still not get it because you're missing that 0.1%.
yeah. You're focused on the wrong details.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get your shoulder dropped, elbow to the ground, all that kind of
So
stuff.
like, yeah, it definitely makes you more patient. But sometimes you're like, man, I wish I could just. How could I just impart it into you? But you know,
some of the kids, you know, they really pick up on it. Some of them are great. You know, like if a couple of kids at the gym now, I'm like, Tyler, they go, these are your prospects right here.
Yeah.
You know, then you have other ones that just come and screw around. They come in.
some kids can pick the stuff up
They want
so fast it blows your mind.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Other kids come in and just want to do burpees.
Yeah.
Because I have one kid, she's up to 30 burpees now. Because I tell her to do 10. She's like, okay, no problem. She does 10 burpees because she was acting up in class. Now it's 30. And she's like,
I'll either
30?
get you good at this or get you real strong.
She's like 30. And I tell the kids before class, I'm like, kids, all you kids realize that doing punishment burpees is an option. You never have to do them. All you have to do is just pay attention for 45 minutes. And when me or Sensei Tyler say to you guys, line up or be quiet or do this the first time, that's called a warning. Now you know. Then the second time is why you do burpees. I always, you know what though, I'm turning into a little bit of lesson for the kids. Because sometimes they might not understand why they're doing them. But when they get done, I go over to them, drop to a knee, I say to them, do you know why I made you do those?
Yeah.
Some of them say yes, some of them say no. And then I explain to them why. And they're like, oh, okay, all right, I get it now. I'm like, it's not because we're picking on you. It's because this class is about learning self-defense, but it's about discipline and paying attention. And you weren't doing that after we told you to do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it gets through to them. They never act up again in class. For the most part. They're kids. I get that. Tyler had to tell me one day, it's like, relax, man, they're kids. So some days I get a little fired up in the beginning.
How are you at their age?
Oh my God.
Right? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I always bring myself back and remember how I was. And, some of the kids, this one kid just falls over for no reason, just flops on the ground. And I made him do burpees the other day. I'm like, stop. I go, what are you flopping on the ground for all the time? It's hysterical. And he did it again yesterday. I go, stop. I go, I don't know why you're doing that. I go, just stand on your feet and be a good trainer. He's a good kid. He's newer. He's getting a lot better. With the improvement, seeing them make the improvement, seeing these shy kids come on the mats.
It's the best.
6, 7 years old. They're shy. They're tuckered down by their parents. They're hugging their leg, And then I'm like, listen. I go, listen. The kids are playing tag. We have 10 more minutes before class starts. When you're ready, take your shoes and your socks off. Get on the mats and go play with the kids. Or I'll have some of the higher belt kids come over, introduce themselves. Be like, hey, come on the mats, play with us. You know what I mean? Put those kids in a little bit of a leadership role without really knowing about it. You know what I mean? And do little things like that. And just seeing the kids, 45 minutes, seeing them running around, seeing them improving, seeing them put little chokes on each other and stuff like that. It's absolutely incredible. The adults too.
Yeah.
The adults too. What's your favorite clientele to teach? The kids or the adults?
So right now I'm not teaching a lot of kids. So right now, definitely, I love getting people started in martial arts. So those beginner jiu-jitsu classes, those beginner judo classes where someone's so new, if I could help them get started to be a little more comfortable or to stay consistent or, like no one ever told me that like, as a coach, like I get you're going to be bad at this. Like I get you can't do it. Like I know you don't know how to do Seanagi. Like I get it. You don't even know what Seanagi is.
Me neither.
But like I was always like, do it, get it right, get it perfect. And you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing or so I love letting people start getting that progress and letting that sink in. Yeah. I think it's awesome.
I think a good thing to do sometimes when they're doing them, say they do a move A and they're not getting it, they're getting frustrated. But listen, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Well, where do you work? What do you do? What do you do for a living? Yeah. Get their mind off of that move for a couple minutes and be like, oh, you know what? Let's try it again. Yeah. Or watch someone do the move while you're asking them, like, hey, let's watch them. Oh, what do you do for a living? And then they're watching them do the move. They're relaxing. Now their mind's a little clearer. And, sometimes they go back to the move and they get it. Yeah. Or they improve at least, Yeah.
One thing I don't think I do enough is like doing the move on people, or having them do the move on you.
Let them feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like
yeah.
that's
Here,
really
feel
beneficial.
Feel the choke. Feel how the shoulder pressure is.
Sometimes you just get stuck in that. Like, no, your left hand.
Yeah.
Your other left hand. You're like, you know. But it's like
you get a little frustrated.
I just always try to reinforce, like, trust me, I know.
Yeah.
Like, I know you don't know it. I know you don't get it. And if you saw me try to learn this move, you would have laughed just the same.
Yeah.
You know.
Or we do we're doing the double ankle sweeps last week. Coming up, they come up right in the middle. You get stuck. I couldn't get my ass off the ground the first time I did that move.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't do an arm bar.
It's not even taught the way I used to do it. Like we don't even it's like I just did it badly, you know. And now we're like we are able to like guide people past those mistakes a lot easier.
But uke and for Tyler, uke is like assistant. So when I uke for Tyler now, when I'm from the beginning, he's like, you're too stiff. You're too stiff. That's breaking my balls. He's like, no, this is what I mean by you're too stiff. You know, for an example, we're doing the single leg or double leg off of the side mount, the side escape.
Yeah.
So I get up there and then like he needs to grab my leg. So instead of having him reach all the way from my leg, you know, I just move my leg in a little bit. Yeah, that's what he's talking about. This, you know what move we're doing. So present the position to me so I can do it easier and show the class.
Yeah.
And he puts those chokes on like it's his job. The first one is 120%. if he's doing an omoplata or if he's doing a cross collar choke or an arm bar, the first time he shows the class, takes him about sometimes a minute or two to explain every little detail. I love it, right? Then the finish comes. Quaking the arm bar, quaking I'm choking, tapping, right?
That's funny.
Second one's not as bad. Third one's very light. But I know the first one's coming. You know what I mean? He's like, I got to show it realistically. I'm not going to get
funny.
it. But I'm becoming a better and better uke for Tyler. Now I'm going to start ukeing for Rocco again on Sunday mornings.
There you go.
Yeah, so I started, I remember when I started ukeing for Rocco was years ago. And then I went to Wilkes-Barre. I couldn't really train with him anymore. But now it's nice I'm glad he's back on his feet now, literally.
Yep.
Coming back from his knee injury, you know. And he's getting better. And he's coming back stronger and stronger.
Yeah, it's crazy to look at. You know, Rocco was a white belt. You know what I mean? Like, not that long ago in the whole grand scheme of things, if I'm going to know the dude like another 20 plus years.
Yeah.
And now, like, you know, teaching all the no-gi stuff, it's like, you know, you can just get into this and, you know, who would I ever guess? Like, he'd be like one of our no-gi instructors.
I remember when his class started. 2 or 3 of us were there. Now it's like 20 people.
Yeah.
I remember when I started training the judo program, what was there? 5-6 people maybe?
Yeah.
Now there's 50, 60 on the mat sometimes. You know, I may be a little exaggerating a little bit, but you know what I mean, though.
No, it's cool to see
unbelievable.
these things grow. Yeah.
Unbelievable. There was 1 or 2 blue belts when I started training. Now there's an ocean of blue belts.
Yeah.
And there's an ocean of it's just seeing the progress is unbelievable.
We had like a new blue belt join, you know. And I'm like, it used to be like back in the day. Like if you were a blue belt and you went somewhere, you were probably like upper echelon for that time, right then and there. Like you probably would beat most of the class with maybe like an instructor or 2. You know, when I started, there wasn't a lot of like rank, you know, there just wasn't.
Incredible.
You know, and now like you're a blue belt and you just show up to our school and there's 20 to 30 people in the advanced class, most of them. You know, you're like, holy crap.
Yeah, it's incredible.
You know,
it's absolutely
there's
amazing.
so much, you know, like benefits and how that helps you and, you know, having all the different body types, all the different styles, you know, it helps you get better so much faster.
It's amazing how you guys grew your business in your school over the years. And I'm so happy to be part of it, Tom. So I appreciate you being on the show. But before we go, tell everyone how they could get in touch with the school, coming by for a couple of free classes, they get started, or what it takes to get started in the program.
Yeah, so we try to make it as easy as possible. We want to take all the like tough guy-ness, attitude, ego out of it. You show up, you try a free class. Either gym, it'll be almost the exact same experience. Someone's going to be there, you know, smiling, welcoming you in, telling you we're a team here. This isn't a bunch of fighters. You know, there's plenty of that, plenty of all that hard training. But, you know, you come, you try a free class. You know, we have multiple sports you can try: judo, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, you know.
MMA program.
You know.
Everything, right?
We have everything. We have morning classes, night classes. But you call us, you know, whoever, if you're online, we're online, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is. But Good Tree MMA, in Wilkes-Barre and Good Tree MMA in Dunmore. Try a free class out. Hope you like it.
Yeah, it could possibly change your life.
Yeah,
if you
that's what's so cool. You can get into it. Some people get into it for the weight loss or like whatever, and that becomes just the intro. Like whatever you started martial arts for, we're gonna solve that problem. Like if it's weight loss, like give me a year. You're gonna lose.
Give me a year. You gotta give me time.
If it's self-defense, give me a year, maybe 2 years. Then you're not gonna be worried about getting beat up anymore. You're worried about stress. A year of fighting, you're not stressed. But then everything else crazy happens as you keep progressing.
I completely agree.
Right? It's
completely
nuts.
agree. We can sit here and talk all day.
Oh yeah,
I know
definitely.
we can.
Definitely.
Thanks
for having me, man. I appreciate
absolutely,
it.
Man. I appreciate you being on.
Can't wait to see how this, keeps going, and how you progress with all this.
Yeah.
It's awesome to see all this already.
Yeah, it's really cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
I remember trying to
You're
get the gloves together, all that kind of stuff. T-shirts at 24. One of our sponsors took care of the gloves for us. We have. This thing is unbelievable. We tried. I remember the first picture I showed you. It had the cage on there, but didn't really.
The cage is a rougher look.
It was a rougher look. So there's MMA gets fought in a boxing ring. So
we get it.
Everything looks amazing on there.
The fries are great.
You know what I mean? Love that you guys are part of the show, and definitely have more and more people on. And we have to do an episode in the cage one of these days too.
Yeah.
I'm fighting G in the cage, right?
We'll see.
If you want to put the kibosh on it, you can. This episode will be on after it.
Okay, yeah, we'll do the post-fight interview. I want to do one of those live shows. Do you know what I mean?
This is more for Frank and Tyler than it is for Jim and myself. So you got two guys in their 40s getting into the MMA cage, amateur rings. 3 rounds, 2 minutes?
Yep.
What did I sign up for?
Good luck.
I told him after the New York Open we could do. I'm going to keep my hands up. That's why I'm doing some more strike. G, I'm coming for you, bro. All right.
Well, good
Tom,
luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tom McGuire from Good Tree MMA. My name is Brian DiMattei. This is Food Fight. If you can, follow my page on Facebook, DiMattei's Food Fight. This is an Honest Stacks production. Just want to give a quick shout out to friends of the podcast, Razzi's Pizza in Sawyersville, Brute's Barbershop in Old Forge, and Tom Munley Law in Scranton. Thank you for your continued support. Thanks for tuning into Food Fight. For more content, follow DiMattei's Food Fight page on Facebook and subscribe to Honest Stacks YouTube channel.